Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Jarvis Escott with What's Happening Birmingham, back again with one of my favorite people, Birmingham City Councilor, President, and also Representative for District 7, Wardine Alexander. Council President Alexander, how are you today?
Hello, glad to be with you today.
Great. As we, I guess, school's back in session, the summer's coming to an end, but there's always things going on at City Hall, especially with the City Council and with your district. Let's first start off, the budget was passed. So I guess dollars and cents, how much money is going to your district?
Well, each counselor will receive $100,000 that we can use for discretionary spending. And so I've already actually started to expense those funds and allocate those funds. My funds will be directed towards helping the 5 Birmingham City schools that reside in District 7. So I'll be giving them some programming and curriculum support in each of those schools, and also working with other nonprofits and agencies within the district that can help to improve the quality of life.
Okay. And also with the summer, as we all know, is summer weather, the grass started growing. So one of the things I've noticed that you came out with is the weed abatement schedule.
That's right. Actually, we know that during the summer months and the rain season from the spring, we do a great job of tearing down those dilapidated properties. But what we are left with is the nuisance of when those properties have become overgrown. And so I've been working with Mayor Woodfin to ensure that we have funding available so that we can have a weed abatement program within District 7. What I'm doing each week as we approve those lots that are approved for weed abatement or approved under the weed abatement bill, I'm beginning to provide that information on the D7 website. And that's so that if you have a nuisance lot that is near you, you will be able to look at this information and determine if that lot has already gone through the weed abatement process. Unfortunately, that process can take weeks, months, even a year or more, depending upon the status of that particular property. Is it have tax due on it? Has the family abandoned it or the owner abandoned it? So there are a lot of large laundry list of reasons that it can take a while. And so I know if that lot, you have the misfortune to live near one of those lots, you want us to process it and clear it as quickly as possible. So I do try to share that information as soon as I can. But right now, our public works, they are very, very overworked as far as trying to ensure they take care of the public right-of-ways, our public parks, and then those lots that are owned and maintained by the city.
Okay, and then I guess, with the weed abatement, they come in and they cut how many times?
And unfortunately, there's only one cut. I mean, the city of Birmingham is not in the landscape business. So it's not as if I go out and as a homeowner, I can secure a landscaper to cut my lot every week during the summer months and that time. So it is important that residents understand that primarily that lot is probably going to be cut once during the growing season. And so that's why I've been working with our neighborhood presidents. There is a process where your neighborhood, if they have a nonprofit associated with their neighborhood, they can actually contract with a list of contractors that are approved by the city, and then they can divert some of their neighborhood dollars into weed abatement as well. But that is a process as well. And so I encourage residents to get to know your neighborhood president and attend your neighborhood meetings, because then you can lobby for those neighborhoods to also become part of the weed abatement process and program.
And I see we got a couple of community cleanups coming up.
That's right. I'm real excited by the fact that we do have a community cleanup coming up very soon. Actually, on Saturday, we'll be at the Winona High School parking lot. That's Saturday, August 26th. We'll be getting our teams together at 8:45 that morning. And about after we get all our teams together, give out all of the equipment, the cleaning supplies, then we will be dispersing into various communities there near Winona High School. So that's Industrial Center, that's the Raleigh neighborhood, that's Tarpley City. Those neighborhoods will be concentrating in. So please come out and join us Saturday morning, August 26th. We'll be gathering in the parking lot of Winona High School, and then we'll go out. We're starting early in the morning, trying to get ahead of the heat. And of course, we know this is Winona Alumni Week. So we have decided, had a lot of people to ask me, you're having this cleanup on the Saturday of the picnic? And yes, we have a lot of alumni who wanted to have a community service component. So we're going to go out, do our cleanup, and then we're going to head on over to Wiggins Park and have some fun.
And get you a good little workout in too.
That's right.
Ain't nothing like working outside. You gonna sweat and you gonna work
I
out.
know, and this heat is not being kind to us this summer.
So tell me about the last D7 quarterly chat.
Yes, just last week we had our quarterly chat with our D7 neighborhood presidents. I was so excited to host them, and we got back down to the basics. What we said, back to the basics. So typically we have speakers to come in, but on this particular session, my staff and I wanted to get up close and personal with our D7 presidents, and we talked about processes, one like that, what I've just mentioned, weed abatement, how they could work as neighborhood presidents to work to help clear some of these lots themselves. We also talked about how they utilize their funds. I talked about the $100,000 that we have for discretionary funds. Each of your neighborhoods are also allotted funds each year. And so that's why you need to really participate in your neighborhood meetings so that you can have the voice, you can have the vote to help to direct how those funds are dispersed back into the community. So we got back down to basics. I had over almost 80% of those presidents were there. And so we fellowshipped, we talked, we brainstormed, and we just had what I feel is a very worthwhile discussion. You know, in D7, our motto is, we don't just talk about the problems, we come up with a solution. And so it was a very solution-based meeting, gathering information, sharing information. So some of our neighborhoods don't meet in the summer, so they'll be meeting for the first time, starting back up full force in September. And we just wanted to give them a toolbox of information that they could use to really make those meetings worthwhile.
Okay, and then also, in addition, just remind them about 311 service that you all provide.
Yes, we do encourage our residents to use the My BHAM 311 app. Everyone has one of these available to them. I'm looking at my old phone here. And just about everybody has a phone and has that capability. You can pull this app down, and what it does, it takes out the middleman of reporting. And so instead of calling the office and reporting this issue, you can report that issue straight to 311. It has a GIS capability. It also has cameras, accepts pictures, it accepts video. So the more information you're able to give them, the quicker your problem or your issue will be put into the database. They use that information to triage it. Does this need the help from Public Works? Is this a BDOT issue, transportation, a street and transportation? And so it helps to triage and get your issue right there in front of the right department. And again, it's My BHAM 311. You get an incident number. The moment that you log that in, it asks you certain questions about your issue, and then you can feel confident that you've gotten that issue up in front of the right person. Now, we are very, very capable of helping you to monitor that to completion. So what I ask is that once you get this information and you file it with the My BHAM app, if you'd like more contact with the city council office we can help to monitor that for you, then you can call 205-254-2498 and be ready to give us that 311 incident number, and then we'll able to track that, and we can also escalate that to the mayor's attention if it's a problem that needs quick response, immediate response.
Now I know with the summertime, you have the Safe Summer series, and this summer or these last couple months, if everybody knows that Alabama, specifically Birmingham, we have gotten our share of rain. With the Safe Summer series, it's rain, sleet, child, and child, the chastity.
Listen, we tried, we had our first one, and we had it scheduled several weeks ago at the Birmingham Botanical Garden. Unfortunately, the weather was not kind to us, and we had Carl Thomas as our headliner act. And he talks about summer rain, and but it came in full force. So we had to postpone and reschedule. So we just held that 2 weeks ago in beautiful Lynn Park. We had a great crowd. I'm just so grateful to Carl Thomas. He knew that the residents and the fans wanted to see him, so he agreed to come back to us. And I'm grateful also to Be Grace Media. They were the consulting group that helped to plan the logistics and plan that for us. And so we just had a great time. I hope everyone we have other acts coming as part of that series, but the Safe Summer Series is an opportunity to families to get out, enjoy some great venues within the city of Birmingham, and listen to some good music. The next one will be October 8th, and it will be hosted by another group of counselors. So we're just excited to bring this to them. I'm glad I had the inaugural one, and it was truly a success. Rained on us a little bit, but we stuck it out this time.
Oh, yes.
And also, in addition to a headliner, we always like to include local talent. And so we had two great talented artists, Nadia Tellis and Miss Brown, and we were just really excited to have them. And we had Chris Coleman. So you can look for some quality music on each one of these particular. Sherry Brown was the artist. I want to be sure to call her by name. And so we were excited to have them. And I think everyone who came had a great time.
Okay. So I want to transition over to the council for a moment. Something you got coming up on this Friday is another public hearing on the towing.
Yes, we have been receiving quite a lot of information. I've been seeing this in the news of where we have some predatory towing that was taking place in the city of Birmingham. So we heard the call, we heard the cry, we read those emails, and so we will have a public hearing scheduled coming up later this week where we will be addressing the predatory touring that's taking place. We have amended our ordinances and those laws that will actually legislate the process so that we want to make this, if your car does have to be towed, we want it to be a safe process and one that you are aware of, and making those agencies work within the guidelines of our city ordinance.
Okay. And another thing I seen you all approved was a violence intervention program.
Yes, last Tuesday it's coming up on tomorrow's agenda. We will be just another piece of the toolbox where we're trying to eliminate crime, give people better choices, conflict resolution, critical messenger, intervention, working with people after they have been victims of crime, trying to be sure that they don't put themselves in a position where they may be a victim of crime again. And so what we've done, we have a company called C3 Mentoring or C3M, and they are a critical messenger program where they'll be going out into the communities and we'll be putting these critical messengers out there. These are people who may have been incarcerated, who may have been a part of some of the problems that we see in the community that now have come around, and they want to catch people before they fall into the same circumstances that they had. And so over $500,000 will be allocated once it's approved tomorrow to put those critical messengers out into the streets. Again, this is just a small piece of the toolbox, a very full toolbox that we're creating. This will add to the over $6.1 million that's been allocated already by the mayor and approved by the city council for those different prevention and services that we're providing to residents.
Okay, and one thing I want to make an announcement too, you all are back in the chambers.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Unfortunately,
Okay.
that some supply chain issues have caused us not to be able to get back into the council chambers as soon as we had expected. So now we just approved as well that we'll continue to be over to the Batwell, I believe, through the end of the year. So just come on over, just a few more steps you have to take. Come on up on second floor at the Batwell, sort of home to us now, and it will make it even more worthwhile when we make those changes in the council chambers, where it'll be a better listening and opportunity for you to come over and hear us there at City Council. So we'll be at Boutwell until the end of the year.
Okay, but last but not least, so this year, this upcoming year, this was, well, the year we're into now, this was the largest budget you all have ever had, right? 500 million.
Correct.
500 million. So with more money, more opportunity to help the citizens or disperse funds to keep the, the city running, also improve the quality of life and other things. So one thing that kind of came up last week during the meeting was Birmingham Southern came up seeking funding assistance from the city of Birmingham. So the vote went on. You was the lone no vote. So I want to give you an opportunity to kind of explain your no vote for the people that didn't watch the council meeting, and what was your, your decision behind it.
Well, I appreciate that. I do want to start out by saying that I lived and grew up near Birmingham Southern. My grandparents lived just a few blocks from Birmingham Southern. So I spent a lot of quality time visiting my grandparents and got to see Birmingham Southern as it became a part of that community. Very long-standing liberal arts private institution. I actually have family and friends that are graduates of Birmingham Southern. Mm-hmm. So my choice in being that lone vote, dissenting vote, was not against Birmingham Southern. My vote was for the residents, and especially those that I represent in District 7. There's not been a monetary item that's been attached to that yet. The vote on last week was just to, it was a resolution by the council supporting the mayor if he wanted to bring that offer back to us to provide support to Birmingham Southern. At this time, I just feel that if there is $2.5 or $5 million, I believe that's what's been asked of the city of Birmingham, I just wanted to be sure that we put out there in this space that there are a lot of needs within the city of Birmingham. This is a private institution. They have an alumni, they have faculty, a board that manages that school. And so I just felt that if we have monies, in this amount of monies that we could put back into the community, I would like to see it really focused on community revitalization. We have a lot of blight, we have a lot of overgrown lots, we have road repair that are very much needed in District 7. If you divided that $2.5 or $5 million request, that's about $600,000 that could be going into each of our 9 districts. And so if I had $600,000 that could come back into D7, there are definitely ways that I would like to see that money spent. So again, it was not a no vote against Birmingham Southern. It was just a yes vote for the residents that I represent in D7.
So did the city, I may be getting ahead of myself, did they produce like an economic impact report? Did they?
That was one of the things that I had also asked for. We do have some local universities, primarily UAB. They do send us a status every year that gives us information about what is the economic impact that those students and their faculty bring to each of our districts. It gives us the number of employees who live in our district that work for the school, as well as students. And then even we get some statistics on the number of patients that are serviced by that particular institution. And so this is the type of information that I was seeking that I've not received that would actually give me more information when we talk about what is the return on that investment. Of course, I don't want to see any school have to be shut down or any properties that would be boarded up because they're not able to exist in the city of Birmingham. I don't want to create another Caraway. That's over 90-something acres of land that we wouldn't want to sit idle. So again, the state has already approved and allotted a certain amount of money. They're waiting now to get that additional help from the city of Birmingham and Jefferson County. I just also felt, why do we have to be first in putting up any resources? I'd also like to see if the money we are going to provide, if it could be some type of a loan program. Is that money going to come back to the residents? How is that money going to be utilized later as a return on the investment? So again, no vote against Birmingham Southern. I want to be sure that's out there. It's a vote for how we can better spend that money and bring that money back into our communities.
Well, I want to thank you for explaining that reason, because a lot of times, in media, news clips, headlines that just take one little sentence and clip it, and that's all people see from the sound bite.
I'm in agreement with that. And I appreciate this opportunity to be able to explain. And it's important to me that the residents know that, again, I would just like to see that support put back into our community revitalization and into our communities.
Oh yeah, that's like going back, like you said, thinking about return on investment. Anything that you know, the city is making investments in everything, whether investments in infrastructure, investments
Correct.
in quality of life, investments in what we talked about a few minutes earlier, weed abatement. You know, that money can go toward possibly or any funds, because if you drive around Birmingham, there's always some place you need to cut the grass over.
That's right. And of course, with the financial literacy that's being provided throughout the city, I would hope that people would understand how to build that generational wealth through home ownership and by maintaining that property among that family. So again, it doesn't become a dilapidated structure and one that the city has at the cost of the residents, that we have to go and tear that home down and then continue to, monitor and cut that grass. So lots of things. It's not just one simple issue, but as we go forward, these are things that we need to think about.
Oh yeah, I want to thank you all for every year, and also give kudos to the mayor that this budget process is very easy. You all go in. There's no content. Most time unanimous, but you know what I mean. It's like it's very speedy. And it doesn't delay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the budget process starts long before it's voted on in June or May or June of that year. Actually, that process can start as early as November and December of each year. I know by the first of the year, at least by March, there have already been discussions between each department head and the mayor's finance team, where the department head will go in and pretty much give a wish list of items and monies that they'd like to see budgeted for that upcoming fiscal year. Then each council member has an opportunity to witness and listen to those budget hearings between that department and the mayor's team. And then we do get a preview of that budget. And then we have opportunities to dialogue with the mayor. So there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. There is sometimes not 100% agreement. And so there's some give and take between the mayor and the council. But again, we do have, because of the Mayor Council Act, we aren't able to put any line items on that budget itself. But our responsibility is to either accept or reject that budget. So typically by the time that we get to the point that we have that unanimous consent, there's been some back and forth dialogue and a lot of investigating and learning on part of the members of the council to be sure that we are putting those dollars, and the mayor is proposing to put those dollars where we think it'll make Birmingham a great place to live, work, and play.
Now, one thing I'm always going to say, when everybody think about Jefferson Avenue Southwest and how smooth ride that is now. Right down.
Goodness. I tell you, it's funny, when the mayor came and talked to the group with the Chat and Chew group last week, that was the first thing he said. If we all remember Jefferson Avenue, and of course I do, it was the first charge that I was given by the residents. What are we going to do about Jefferson Avenue? And of course, we didn't get there overnight, and we also didn't have it fixed overnight. But I am just so excited. And that, just for residents to think about, that was over $600,000, the same amount of money that I'm saying that we would have if we split the money that we're proposing to give to that private college. So the cost of those 10 blocks alone from 40th to 31st Street on Jefferson Avenue, that was over $600,000. So that just shows you the cost of paving and the amount of time going through the bid process and finding that money available. But I rode down there the other day, and it is a smooth ride. So I'm thankful for that. Really.
Oh yes, I was riding down there too. I was like, yes, got done.
It's something I truly had to advocate for, and one of the proudest moments since I've served on the council is being able to see that through fruition. So I'm grateful, very grateful.
Oh, great. So any last thoughts you want to add?
Well, I just want to say again, it is Winona Alumni Week. We just asking everybody to pace themselves, and it's a great time for Winona alums like myself where we can get out and get to fraternize and have fun with family and friends. I also want to tell residents, please stay safe. Keep hydrated. This summer has not been kind to us when it comes to the temperatures. And just encourage everyone, if you do have an issue, please call my office at 205-254-2498. We're there, willing, waiting to help you.
Well, Council President Alexander, always a pleasure, always an honor for coming on the podcast. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, thank you all for watching.
Stay out this heat, okay?
Yes, and thank you all for watching. Please check out what'shappenedbirmingham.com for more interviews and check out the audio version of this on Apple Podcasts. Thank you all again, and stay cool. And I might add one more thing about We Know Alumni Week. If you didn't get to the fish fry this past Saturday for the band, trust me, just go to the band. You can still support them. So
that's right. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.